Hello, my name is Gianpaolo Capozzi, and I would like to introduce to you my pitch for a new animated children's TV show called Teleki, a whimsical, funny TV series surrounding Timmy Levison, a boy discovering the world with his powers of telekinesis. Now, I want to start off with a little personal connection. As a kid, I always wondered how much better or cooler my life would be if I had telekinesis. I could make my friends float, change any sports game to fall to my advantage, or turn lights off without even leaving my bed. But the more I thought about it, what would actually happen? What conflicts or challenges would arise if I had telekinesis? Would I be expected to save the world, or would I be a lab rat? So, here's the long line for the series. When a middle school boy suddenly develops telekinetic powers, he tries to use them to make everyday life more exciting with his friends, all while evading a bumbling government agency rather, that's always one step behind. So, here are the comps and references. A lot of the tone and feel comes from shows that are whimsical, secretive, supernatural, low stakes, and friendly. Shows that I think have some of these qualities are Phineas and Ferb, The Loud House, and Fairly Odd Parents. These shows really emphasize that while nothing is too serious, you're still entertained by it no matter what because of the story and its content. So, to look at a purely Canadian audience context, the show will be targeted to preteens aged 8 to 13. There are existing Canadian shows made by Nelvana, produced by Chorus, in this demographic. The best examples for me are Nunchucks and Nerds and Monsters. And I think these shows are great examples because they both had multiple seasons and they were both very well received when they aired. Teleki is set in suburban Canada, a neighborhood of cul-de-sacs, soccer fields, and corner stores. It's familiar but slightly heightened, the kind of place where something weird could happen every day. Timmy goes to Mapleview Middle School, a school buzzing with energy and mischief, with teachers who just seem barely in control. The world feels safe but ridiculous. Objects move on their own, and most kids barely even notice. Timmy's friends, who know of his telekinesis, treat it like a toy rather than a secret. Together, they push his powers to their limits for fun, turning every ordinary day into a wild, over-the-top experiment in chaos. Meanwhile, under the surface, a government division called SPEAR, Special Paranormal Extraction and Research, is secretly tracking supernatural phenomena. They've got agents, scanners, and entire underground labs. Their mission? Capture Timmy and study him to use his telekinesis to make themselves more powerful. To them, he's not a kid. He is the future of control. The show has a bright 2D animation style with energetic sound design. Think elastic motion, fast timing, and musical rhythm. It's clean and colorful, but never stiff. Characters squash, stretch, and snap with every emotion. And when Timmy loses control, the world itself bends to the beat, a playful explosion of chaos and rhythm in motion. Now let's delve into our characters, starting with Timmy Levison, our protagonist. He's a curious 12-year-old who has inherited telekinesis from his eccentric grandfather. He's imaginative, impulsive, and always testing what he can do. Though he tries to act normal, his powers make every day unpredictable, forcing him to balance fun and caution. Blake Hartz and Amelia Leaves are Timmy's best friends. Total opposites, but inseparable. Blake's the bold, quick-talking, slightly dim idea guy, while Amelia is the grounded, clever one who keeps them out of any real trouble. Together, they turn Timmy's secret into a mix of experiments, adventures, and close calls. They're a trio bound to curiosity, loyalty, and a little chaos. Charlie Levison is Timmy's grandfather, a retired construction foreman whose telekinesis came from a decades-old government experiment called Project Open Mind that unknowingly altered his genes. He now lives a quieter life, hiding his past while realizing his gift has finally been passed down to Timmy, who hopes his grandson will use his powers better than he did. Next, we have our secondary antagonist. First is Agent Raymond Capture, a pseudo-intellectual who constantly makes overly complicated plans that always seem to fall apart. Second is Agent Lee Colt, his partner who's all muscle and no foresight. Clumsy, easily distracted, yet loyal. Together, they are a chaotic duo who are the equivalent of Harry and Marv if they were secret agents. The main antagonist is Dr. Marcus Marlowe, the calculating, composed director of SPEAR. He is obsessed with controlling psychic power to advance humanity in his own twisted ways. He's calm and articulate, always watching from behind the scenes, using Capture and Colt as his clumsy tools to get his eyes on the prize, Timmy. Now, on to the season arc. The formula of the show is episodic and repetitive, 10 episodes in the season. This is similar to Phineas and Ferb, where every episode builds to a wild climax that resets before anyone notices. The joy comes from watching ordinary problems spiral into extraordinary messes, with SPEAR always on our hero's tail. This is how the pilot would pan out. Timmy Levison lives with his grandfather, whose parents are always away on business trips. He is upset that his life is boring, nothing exciting ever happens. That day, in science class, he accidentally drops a beaker, but suddenly starts to make it float right before it drops, placing it on the ground. This was witnessed by his best friends, Blake and Amelia. He goes home to talk with his grandfather, who tells Timmy about the experiment that gave him telekinesis. Timmy's shocked, and the next day he goes to tell his friends about his powers. As they walk home, though, Capture and Colt kidnap Timmy, but just before they take him into the back of their van, Timmy ties their laces together with his mind and runs away with his friends. Thankful they escaped, they think of all the possibility with Timmy's new powers. This is how a typical episode would go. Timmy learns to use his telekinesis in goofy ways with his friends, reading gym class to soccer, making his friends fly throughout the air, or floating food fights against a mean bully. At the end of each episode, Spear tries to capture Timmy, but each time they're outsmarted. Still, they get closer and closer. In the season finale, Capture and Colt are finally successful in capturing Timmy, who bring him to the Spear HQ, where he sees many other kids with powers like his. Through trial and tribulation, he escapes, but when he gets home, he remembers the other kids and suddenly realizes they need his help. He decides he wants to put an end to Spear's activities, and that is where the season ends. To conclude, Teleki Timmy is a chaotic, heartfelt show bursting with energy, all about keeping it together when your life is literally flowing apart. It shows us that, in the end, growing up takes mind power. Thank you very much for watching my presentation, and have a great day.